welcome to the Full Send series on the book of Matthew. As we look through this gospel, we are going to look specifically at what Jesus brings, what he brings to us through his birth, his life, his death, and his resurrection. And we're actually going to look at 5 different things in these 5 weeks. We're going to look about how Jesus brings hope, how Jesus brings peace, how Jesus brings joy, how Jesus brings love, and how Jesus brings the unexpected to this world, and how we see that in his birth, his life, his death, and his resurrection. So today, we are going to talk about hope. Jesus bringing hope. And I'm not talking about this wishful maybe type of hope. I'm not talking about the George Bailey and It's a Wonderful Life, I wish for $1 million hot dog type of hope. I am talking about a hope that is faith-filled. And we're going to jump right in to a story right before Jesus was born in Matthew chapter 2. It's talking about the wise men. It says, "Now after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, 'Where is he who has been born the King of the Jews? For we saw his star when it rose, and have come to worship him.' When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with them. And assembling the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. They told him, 'In Bethlehem of Judea, for so it is written by the prophet, and you, O Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For from you shall come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel.' Then Herod summoned the wise men secretly, ascertained from them what time the star had appeared, and he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, 'Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word that I too may come and worship him.'" The wise men were on a journey to the Messiah. This wasn't a wishful or a maybe the Messiah is there. This was a faith-filled hope journey. It was 800 miles, 40 days one way. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't go on an 80-day round trip event if I wasn't sure that I was going to find what I thought I was going to find. I have to have faith and a strong faith-filled hope to go and take that much time and dedicate it to something. The wise men had hope, and it was filled with their understanding and trust of the Messiah being born. Well, it's not just when Jesus was born. In chapter 8, we get another picture, and there are 2 people in this passage. The first one is a leper. When he came from the mountain, great crowds followed him, and behold, a leper came to him and knelt before him, saying, "Lord, if you will, you can make me clean." And Jesus stretched out his hand and touched him, saying, "I will be clean." And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. Leprosy, it was something that was easily transitioned between people. And so people who had leprosy were kicked out of the area. They couldn't be around people. And here, this leper came with faith-filled hope that it could be different. He approached Jesus in a large crowd, and listen to what he said. "Lord, if you will, you can make me clean." This is a statement of faith-filled hope in the Messiah being able to heal him. And sure enough, Jesus did. The next part of the passage is a centurion. Now, this is a Gentile. This is not a Jew. This is a Gentile. And he comes to Jesus, and he says to him, "Lord, my servant is lying paralyzed at home, suffering terribly." And Jesus said to him, "I will come and heal him." But the centurion replied, "Lord, I am not worthy to have you come under my roof, but only say the word, and my servant will be healed." Think about that. This centurion has enough faith-filled hope in God, in Jesus, that he believes that Jesus doesn't even have to be an eye shot of the person. He just has to say the words. And this centurion believed that his servant would be healed. Imagine having that firm of hope and understanding and who Jesus is and what he can and will do. The centurion, filled with faith, didn't wish or think maybe. He knew that Jesus would heal the servant. As we continue on, we see Jesus' last week in chapter 26. We're not going to read it tonight, but I encourage you to read the Passover, verses 17 through verses 30 in chapter 26 of Matthew. Jesus, again, shows that he doesn't think maybe or he wishes things to happen. He knows. He trusts in God that they will happen. Even so much so that he says, "Go and you will find a place for us to have a meal together." He doesn't say that wishing it will happen or maybe it will happen. He has a faith-filled hope that it is going to happen because God will make it happen. What I want us to focus on is at the end. At the end of this, he is handing out the bread and the cup. And he said, "This is the blood of my covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins. I tell you, I will not drink again of this fruit of the vine until the day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom." He's not again thinking maybe this will happen. He knows. He knows with hope that one day he will sit around a table in eternity with the disciples and all other believers in him, and they will join together around this banquet table, this feast together. A faith-filled hope. Jesus shows us that we can be certain for what is to come. And then one last passage for us as we think about hope is probably, I think, the most famous passage in the book of Matthew. Matthew 28, the Great Commission. Jesus says, "Now the 11 disciples went to Galilee to the mountain to which Jesus had directed them. And when they saw him, they worshiped him, but some doubted. And Jesus came and said to them, 'All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you. And behold, I am with you always to the end of the age.'" Jesus encourages us with the hope that we know, the hope that we have, to not keep that hope to ourselves, but to go and share that hope with others. A hope that is certain in a future through Jesus Christ. A hope that knows without a doubt that we will be in eternity with God through Jesus' death and resurrection. And so through the whole story of Jesus, from his birth to his life, to his death and his resurrection, we see that he points us and brings us hope. Hope not just for this world, but hope for the next. And it's not a hope that is a maybe or a possible. This is a hope that is for certain and we can stand firm in. So Full Send family, how is your hope today? What part of the scale does your hope lean on? Is it a hope that is wishing for something to happen or maybe it will happen? Or is it firmly on the side of, I know. I hope because I know Jesus Christ. I know his truth. I know his promises. And I know without a doubt that my hope is faith-filled in Jesus Christ. See, that makes a difference. It makes a difference how we live life. It makes a difference how we address and walk through hard situations. Because we can have hope, full of faith, because Jesus brought it to this world through his life, his death, and resurrection. So Full Send family, may we live each day filled with hope, a certain hope in Jesus Christ. And may that impact everything we do.